よしよし
Welcome to Tiger Drop Films, and if you're a returning viewer, then I hope you've brought your stamina royale and your favorite bloody binding. And we got a fun video to talk about today, so let's get into it. And regarding this Easter egg in Gaiden, there will be spoilers for every game except Infinite Wealth, so you've been warned, and I haven't gotten to Infinite Wealth yet, so... But anyway, let's talk about what I find to be the coolest Easter egg in Like a Dragon Gaiden. Now, Like a Dragon Gaiden is a game full of wonderful homages and references to Kazuma Kiryu's mighty legacy that we all know and love, and by God, I adore it. In Gaiden, there's plenty of cool references such as returning side characters and the side content from side stories like that wonderful Ryuji Goda story. And if you're familiar with my channel, you know that Ryuji Goda is my favorite antagonist in the series, so that whole chain of side stories was wonderful. There's a bunch of cool references, and we even get to see Kiryu reunite with Majima, Daigo, and Saejima perfectly. And it's all great. There's much more to even talk about. But in the Coliseum, there's a very special Easter egg that you actually get to engage in and play with. And that is the return of IF7 from Dr. Minamida from Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. But now it's been upgraded from IF7 to IF9, yes. And you know that since it's going to be Kiryu going back into this video game virtual reality machine, it's going to be about him going back through his memories. And as you see in the footage I have, it's from a bonus challenge mode in Yakuza 3 where you get to fight another Kiryu. But in Gaiden, you actually get to do something wonderful. And that is going back and fighting through all the boss battles in the mainline series that Kiryu himself has overcome and defeated. And there's only 6 boss fights included, going backwards from Iwami to our boy Nishiki. And you might be wondering, and yeah, Shibusawa is excluded, but I can see why. Even though I love Zero and it was the one that got me to this franchise, it is kind of a bit of a bonus game if you kind of think about it in hindsight once you play the rest of the games. But with that in mind, I still wish we got to fight Shibusawa. I guess Ishin Kiwami kind of gave us that. But in the context of Gaiden, we get to fight the main antagonists of the main 6 games. And I think it's a brilliant way not only to be fan service and a trip down memory lane, but a way to help culminate Kiryu's journey, as the whole point of Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man erased his name, is that, well, Kiryu had to erase his name, and he's just trying to run away from his past, but ultimately has to still confront who he is. No matter what he says, he's not Joryu, he's Kiryu. And what better way to illustrate this inner turmoil than going back to the Millennium Tower and the IF9 game machine and fighting these antagonists that had such an instrumental impact on Kiryu's life. I mean, I think that going backwards from Iwami to Nishiki makes it even better and more fruitful. Because as I talked about in my own video essay about Iwami, it's always a pleasure to beat the crap out of him like he's nobody. So I think it's better if the final boss in this little gauntlet is our boy Nishiki. And besides from having the Millennium Tower return, and it's the version we actually got to see in Yakuza 4 and 5 redone in the Dragon engine, which is such a treat. Because in the other games like 6 and 7, whenever you go to the Millennium Tower, you don't go to the rooftop anymore. Like, not the helipad part. So I thought it was pretty awesome to see that remade in the Dragon engine. But all 6 of these boss fights are accompanied by their respective final boss themes, which is such a wonderful treat. I mean, going from order in the game, we get to hear The Way of Life, then Battle for the Dream, For Faith, Fly, A Sacred Scattered Moment, and For Whose Sake. All these themes that resonate with us fans in different ways. Some of them are just hype fights, but a lot of these fights are truly emotional, from the payoff to the story and just the overall journey that the Like a Dragon series can uniquely give to players. And for myself, it was a blast to revisit these incredible boss fights, and I bet for Kiryu himself, it was a way for him just to reflect in the IF9 machine, and which in of itself is a cool way to bring back an old mechanic from Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 days. If only Mac would return. I know you guys want Mac to return. Everybody needs Mac in our lives. But seeing Minamina's machine and IF7 return in its new form was breathtaking. And I just think that Gaiden as a whole does a great job celebrating Kiryu's legacy. And as a guy who loves Yakuza 6, and I thought it was a pretty good way to let Kiryu rest for a little bit before we go back to him. I know a lot of people thought 6 didn't really do a great job celebrating Kiryu's legacy with bringing back side characters and all that, and that's why I think Gaiden is a great companion piece to 6, and vice versa. Nowadays, I know I'm not going to be able to play one without replaying the other, if that makes sense. They're both a great way to send off Kiryu, in terms of his classic fighting style that isn't turn-based. So I really think that Like a Dragon Gaiden is such a fun way to revisit old themes and gameplay mechanics that we haven't seen in a long time. And I do think that it's just a way of showing why the Like a Dragon series is so unique in the realm of gaming. And I am excited to play Infinite Wealth, but I do think that Infinite Wealth is truly going to be the end of an era for Yakuza, and that anything after that might just be a bit different than what we're used to. The homie Goku Doni already did a great video over Shishido, the badass dude from this game that really truly stands among these other 6 boss fights you see in the footage. And of course Goku Doni already went over Shishido in great detail, but I think that it's such a treat to have that incredible Shishido boss fight in this game, but at the same time I can hop over to this little side game mode in the Coliseum and revisit these other amazing boss fights. It truly feels like a greatest hits of Kiryu's legacy. And believe me, there's some mandatory fights if you want to progress through the side stories in the Coliseum that are brutal, like the one where you have to fight all 4 kings at once with an army of very strong soldiers alongside them. That fight took me about a week just getting on and off on the game, but I think that this Minamina Grand Prix match is a great way to kind of just relax a little bit and go down memory lane. If I had one small critique about this Easter egg, it would be that since it's already in a sort of dream virtual state for Kiryu, I wish we were able to equip his classic gray and red outfit. I mean, it's a virtual reality anyway, can't we just let him dream of, truly being back in there? Or at least having the gray pants and having his Dragon Irizumi showing. Now, that's just the only little critique I had that I wish we could have got. Just, a little bit more icing on this already rich cake. But I guess if we got that, then we wouldn't be able to get that awesome reveal with the Shishido fight where we finally get to see that sacred Dragon Irizumi. But it looks like in Infinite Wealth we finally get to have Kiryu run around with his Irizumi showing since he's in America and can go swimming on the beach. So I guess it all works out in the end, huh? Because if you think about it, we haven't been able to free roam as Kiryu with the shirt off since, Yakuza 3? And maybe 4 if you count having to wear the wrestler outfit instead of just, taking the shirt off. Because I think the actual last time it released that we got to see that was Kiwami 2 in free roam. But I won't keep you guys too longer, so let me wrap up. I think that this special series of boss fights and Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, is a great way to really celebrate Kiryu's legacy, and as we see in the end credit scene where Kiryu finally gets to put Yumi's ring in the church in Hawaii, I think it was a cool way to kind of let Kiryu let go of his past, and in this game mode fight these old boss fights that truly challenged him in some way. And I think that it's just such a wonderful way to kind of have a quirky sort of PS2, PS3 era bonus mode. And I think that if you haven't gotten to this special Minamita Grand Prix fight yet, then you should go for it. Just grind through the Coliseum and you'll unlock it. It's totally worth it. Especially if, you're a fan. So, thank you guys for watching. I've been Tiger Drop Films and I truly appreciate your time with my channel. this channel's grown so much, especially thanks to that History of the Amani Clan video that continues to get views. I mean, thank you guys so much. And with your guys' support, I've been able to branch out and talk about other topics that interest me, such as Resident Evil, and I got to go back and talk about Godzilla again. So thank you guys, and please, if you haven't seen some of my other Like a Dragon videos, please be sure to check them out. They're worth your time. So, I've been Tiger Drop Films. Let me know in the comments what your favorite part of Like a Dragon Gaiden was, and please stay tuned and have a nice day, because I got more videos coming. Until next time.
よーしよし。